Hello friends, this video on neural control and coordination part 27 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Now let us look at the vestibular apparatus. So vestibular apparatus, so cochlea was the coiled structure and the remaining part is the vestibular apparatus. So the parts of the vestibular apparatus are the semicircular canals and the otolith organ. So these are the semicircular canals. So here you can see 1, 2 and 3 canals are visible. So they all are the semicircular canals, and the otolith organ, that is this part. So this part is the otolith organ. So this and this part together forms the vestibular apparatus. So let us see what are semicircular canals. These are fluid-filled ducts or tube-like structures. So these are the canals. There are 3 canals: posterior canal, superior canal and horizontal canal. So they are filled with fluid and they are attached to cochlea and nerves. So how they are attached to cochlea, that is very simple and that is very clearly noticed here. And they are also connected to the nerve, which can carry the electric impulses to the brain. They send information on balance and head position to the brain. So all these information is sent to the brain through the nerves, which are connected to the semicircular canals. The swollen base of the canal is known as ampulla. So here you can see each of these canals has swollen base and this base is known as the ampulla. The projecting ridge with hair cells is called the crista ampullaris. So the swollen base is ampulla, and near that ampulla there is a region where small hair cells are present, and that region is called crista ampullaris. Now let us talk about the otolith organ. The otolith organ is composed of saccule and utricle. So here you can see the utricle here. So this is the utricle and this is the saccule. So this is utricle, this is saccule. So here also you have a projecting ridge called macula. So this crista and macula, that is the projecting ridges, they are the specific receptors of the vestibular apparatus. Now basically the hair cells are acting as the auditory receptors. Now in case of cochlea, the receptors were the hair cells which were present in the organ of Corti. Now in case of the vestibular apparatus, the hair cells which are present in the crista and the hair cells which are present in the macula, they act as receptors of the vestibular apparatus, which help to maintain the balance of the body and posture. So that is how the inner ear helps, because inner ear, all parts of the inner ear contains all the auditory receptors, which in turn performs the most important function of the ear. So now that we are clear, we have a better understanding about the various parts of the ear, we can try to understand the mechanism of hearing. So let us now try to understand the mechanism of hearing. So now we know the different parts of the ear well. So it will be easier for us to understand how do we hear. Okay. So again we'll understand this step by step, like how we did it for mechanism of vision. So here the pinna collects the sound waves. Now the sound waves are present in the atmosphere and they are collected by the pinna, right? And then the pinna transmits them to the eardrum. So the sound waves travels through the auditory canal and it reaches the eardrum. Now what happens in the eardrum? Due to the rarefactions and compressions, as each of them reach the eardrum, that makes the eardrum vibrate. So the eardrum vibrates in response to the sound waves. Now these vibrations are then passed on through the ear ossicles, that is the middle ear, the malleus, incus and steps. So they are passed on through the middle ear and the vibration reaches the inner ear through the oval window of the cochlea. So somewhere here you have the oval window through which the vibrations enter the cochlea. So reaches the oval window, then it reaches the fluid of cochlea. Now what happens? Now, before it reaches the cochlea, before that what happens? When it passes through these three bony structures, or these three bones of the middle layer. Now when the steps move, it pushes the oval window. The oval window is pushed, which in turn moves the cochlea. So the cochlea takes the fluid vibration of sounds from the surrounding semicircular ducts and then translate them into the electrical signal. So that is how electrical signals are generated in cochlea. Now this, see, the eardrum will vibrate. As a result, the malleus, incus and steps will also vibrate accordingly. Now when the steps move, the oval window will also be pushed inward, because steps is connected to the oval window. When the oval window is pushed inwards, the cochlea will consider the fluid vibration, because inside the cochlea some fluid is present, the endolymph and the perilymph. So it will consider those fluid vibrations from the surrounding ducts and translate those vibrations into the signals. And these signals are then sent to the brain by the cochlear nerve and the vestibular nerve. So here near the semicircular canals you have the vestibular nerve, and near the cochlea you have the cochlear nerve. So they will carry the electrical signals to the brain. Now also we know that in the cochlea and in the vestibular apparatus we have specific substances. We have specific cells which can act as auditory receptors. So they can actually receive those vibrations from the fluid, and then in turn that can produce the electrical signals, which are further sent through the vestibular nerve and the cochlear nerve. So that is what happens here. So it reaches the fluid of cochlea, which in turn affects the basilar membrane. As a result, the hair cells bend against the tectorial membrane. As I said, this is the basilar membrane, right? And here are the hair cells, and somewhere here is the tectorial membrane. Now when the basilar membrane is moved, the hair cells will also bend against the tectorial membrane, because the hair cells are present like this. So it has a membrane below, it has a membrane above. The membrane which is there above is the tectorial membrane. Now when the hair cells move, these tectorial membrane against the tectorial membrane, impulses will get generated in the afferent neurons which are present here. So right now we are talking only about the cochlea region. Here just how I explained you, right? In cochlea also electric impulse will be generated, and also in the vestibular apparatus electric impulse will be there. So in the cochlear region, where exactly it is generated, where we have the hair cells, because the hair cells can act as receptors, so they bend. When they bend, the impulses are generated, and these impulses are carried by the afferent neurons. These neurons in turn reaches the cochlear nerve, which in turn sends it to the brains, and these nerves which carry it to the brain are also known as the auditory nerves. Now when it reaches the auditory cortex of the brain then interprets the sound waves whichever is received there, the signals which depicts a particular sound wave, and depending upon the sound waves which is received, brain will interpret, and then we will get to know what kind of sound are we hearing, right? So this is the mechanism of hearing. So the impulses are analyzed and the sound is finally recognized. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more videos, attempt free online test, get free study material, find tutors and mentors. Thank you once again.